Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
Good man. How are you?
Good, good evening. There was a little party in my head, and it has now come to screen with you. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely fine.
Mad stuff with Rob is in the house. How are you doing? You're in Goa right now, aren't you?
I'm in Goa. Yes, I'm in Goa
You,
right now, and but it's not like I'm partying every day.
of course not, because you
It's
live there. It's your house.
yes. But like a lot of people who come here, like most of my friends and all, because whenever, like even last year, there was a lockdown and everyone came to Goa to chill,
Mm-hmm.
and then everyone
Mm-hmm.
wanted to party, and I was like, hello, there's like a pandemic going on.
Pandemic going on.
Yeah,
What's up?
just because you're in Goa and it's a lot more peaceful, doesn't mean that we should step out. And that's why we could meet with social distancing and things like that, but let's not push it. And sure enough, things went bad in Goa as well. But now things are improving slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And how have you been keeping yourself busy, Rob?
I have been actually, you know, it's funny that during the pandemic, I was busier actually. I became a lot more productive. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I guess also because the kind of work I do,
Mm-hmm.
there was a need of that kind of content, you know, during the pandemic and lockdown because everyone wants to invest in learning something, trying out something. Everyone was sitting at home, so everyone wanted to do something more creative, productive. So I started getting in more requests. People wanted more content. Brands started connecting with me a lot more because everyone wanted to reach out to the right kind of audience. Um, so a lot more work was happening. And also, initially, it was slightly difficult and a little challenging because
Mm-hmm.
I have someone who helps me out with my shooting. Because once I am sort of engrossed in my work, then it's very difficult to leave that, then pick up the camera and shoot something. So I have someone who helps me out with all of that. But initially, we didn't know where this was headed. So everyone was like, okay, everything should shut right now. Studio was shut, so no work was happening. So when it reopened, I was like, I can start work, but I can't let people in. So my studio is in my house itself. Like, so there is
Right.
a designated space for. So anyone coming home, was like slightly risky for both me, my family, all of that. So then I had to manage everything on my own. So even if I was filming something, I had to set up the light, shoot, then make something, go back, take a wider shot, take close-up shot, then come back, shoot the reveal shots, all of that. So that was a little challenging, but it was great because it also kept me busy, man. And it was great
And
distraction. I was so involved in doing stuff that I didn't care what was happening outside. So it was good.
and we got a lot of fans who've been watching you since their childhood, and honestly, you haven't changed much. You are right there. You don't age. You're like immortal. I mean, I'm sure you're not worried about the pandemic, considering nothing can touch Rob, and we like to keep it that way. I mean, you're like a national treasure. But a lot of comments for Pogo and Pogo OP and Rob and Pogo. So, are we ever gonna like? I'm gonna get straight into it. Are we going to see Mad again on TV in some other version, or is the internet your game right now?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, first of all, thank you for calling me national treasure, and yeah, cheers to
Nicholas
that.
Cage is looking for
And
you.
but yeah, like I mean, everyone is really kind when they say that. Having the age. Now I put up a lot of my old pictures, and also you can see that transformation of how I was
Yes.
this skinny young boy with long hair, and now I've transformed to this. But it's nice to hear that people have been part of my creative journey for so long. Since they
Hmm.
were like little children, and now some of them are photographers and creators and YouTubers and graphic designers, animators. It's lovely to see that. So it's nice. It's a blessing that people are part of that journey. But
Hmm.
uh, but yeah, sorry, I digressed and I forgot what you asked me.
I just asked you if Mad is ever going to
Correct.
come back onto
So
TV in any way.
the thing is that it's nice that people remember the show so fondly,
Hmm.
and I would love to do it again. but obviously like a better version, a new improved version of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. Like, I just did, like, in fact, last year, beginning of last year, I did a show for Disney, uh,
Okay.
which was a similar sort of concept in the sense that it was also a DIY show, completely different from Mad. But
Mm-hmm.
it was a DIY show. It was about recycling and upcycling, and so
Mm-hmm.
the same language of helping
Right.
people become more creative. So we did that, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a huge success. It got a really amazing opening and launch, and people enjoyed it. But what happens is that it was like a full-fledged television show, with like
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 cameras, a big unit, and all of that. And when the lockdown happened, we had to shut everything, and I came to Goa, and I couldn't do anything. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing with these big productions, man. Like, you can make a beautiful looking product, but it requires a bigger team, a bigger setup. And when there's
Right.
situations like this, then it's difficult. So I feel that through this, like Instagram, YouTube, I have a lot more freedom. It's sort of easier to put out content, and it's great way to connect the people who follow you. Like on TV,
Right.
it wasn't the same case. I had to wait, like at least at that time. Now, obviously, you can see that people who are watching on TV, they'll send you a DM on Instagram. But that time it was handwritten letters, and I used to get like boxes, like cartons full of
Yes.
handwritten letters and drawings. So that was the only way people could connect with you. But now, as soon as I put up a video on YouTube or Instagram, I instantly get to know whether it's working or not, people have liked it or not. So it's nice to see that, because for an artist it's all about appreciation, and you see that through the number of likes you get or the kind of comments you get. And I guess you have to change with the changing times, and this is where we are headed. So I'm happy doing this.
But you said you have to change with changing times, and Rob, you've been relevant since then to now. Very few people, like, I mean, as a child, I remember three people on TV. One was Nikhil Chanappa, one was Sanjeev Kapoor, and one was you. Nikhil managed Sanjeev Kapoor, I don't know, I mean, he's making cutlery or something. And then there's you. You are still very, very relevant when it comes to digital audience. And like someone would think that, okay, that was Rob doing fun stuff as a young, uh, chirpy presenter, but you have adapted and brought it here, and you're still chirpy, you're still relevant. How? How have you changed so fluidly, like your colors?
I don't know, man. I feel I'm really blessed, I guess, that people still give me so much of love and support, and they love what I do. But genuinely, it was also the constant need to improve on what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
or like just learning. As an artist or as a creator, we all spend time learning something new every day, and that has helped me. So even when I left television and I was like, what should I do now? uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know I decided to explore digital and YouTube. At that time, I didn't know what YouTube was. Like, I was spending a lot of time on YouTube, but it was just watching random stuff. Like, you watch a documentary, you watch like a travel series, I didn't know like this whole concept of creators, of owning a channel. It was just random things.
Right?
But I was like, hey, like, when I attended the first fan fest is when I realized, like, oh, this is a whole new world and I want to explore it too. And it was mainly just understanding and learning what is this new thing that is happening. And I guess that, this whole childlike, I often, in fact, whenever I'm giving my talk, I always talk about this, that you should think like a child, because
Mm-hmm.
children are, one, very honest in what they do. So whatever they absorb and they put out is very honest. They are very
Right.
curious.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they don't restrict. There are no rules and regulations for them. When a child is painting, they don't stick to a paper. They draw on walls. They paint on cupboards and floors, and you know. So when you think like that, there is no limitation. Then nobody can put you in a box, so nobody can. And that has helped me. So every time when I'm putting out, I'm definitely doing what I love. My passion is art, but I keep changing the platform. I keep changing the style of shooting. I keep changing how I present it. And as I'm growing as an artist, I guess, all these learnings and experiences I'm adding to the thing, and people are liking it. So just lucky and blessed, man.
Do you miss coming to Bombay? Like, I mean, it's been a while I saw you, and that was at some Facebook meetup itself that we met,
Yeah,
and now
I
you're
do.
just in Goa.
I do. In fact, like since last year, I came back, I think on the 15th of March, 15th or
Hmm.
16th. And since then, I haven't traveled anywhere. Like I have been in Goa, I've been at home. I do miss coming to Bombay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little, you know, um, how do I put it? Like I come there, it's like
Party?
my dose of, yeah, madness. Because Goa is so laid back and so
Huh.
quiet and so calm. And not like you can't have all of that here too. Like there are parties happening, there are get-togethers, there are like social gatherings. But I stay out of that most of the times. I only indulge when I need to. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
I chose this lifestyle because I wanted to be like this. I wanted to be on my own, amidst nature, just enjoying it. It helps me. I don't know. I guess this is what I wanted now in life. So I enjoy it. And whenever I sort of feel that I need that madness or craziness in my life, that I come to Bombay, spend some time, hang with friends, all of that, and I come back to Goa.
Wait, so where are you originally from?
So originally I am from, and people get amazed. Like even when I was in Bombay and I used to tell people, so I used to live in Bandra,
Oh,
and
oh, you're from. No, wait, you're not
I'm
from
not from,
Bandra, are
I'm
you?
from Delhi.
What?
Yeah. And I used to live in Bandra, and often enough, people would say, and I was like, oh, if you're talking about Bombay, and there were certain places, or they would talk about, and like, where is that? And it's like, are you from Bombay? I was like, no, I'm from Delhi. And I was like, what? You don't look like a Delhiite. And I was like, I don't know if that's like a compliment or it's like an insult or how are you stereotyping me to be? So yeah, I am from Delhi. I grew up there, but I finished college and I moved out. I was at NID, so I was in Ahmedabad for almost 4 years. And as soon
Mm-hmm.
as I finished my filmmaking and animation course, I moved to Bombay, because Bombay is the hub of entertainment. And since then, that was like in 2003, I think. And from then on, I was in Bombay. And like about 3 years back or 4 years back, I moved to Goa.
Nice. And Chikter asking, how has Rob always been the same age? You look the same since my childhood. Oh God, Rob. And I mean, there is no match stuff complete without us actually doing something match. So you told me you were going to make me do some stuff on live, considering it's a Friday and somehow all activities on my show happen on a Friday. So I am prepared. I have a sketchbook and I have some colors and a pen. Now tell
Perfect.
me what we're doing.
So, I told you we'll do like some fun exercises or challenges. So, first, what we'll do is we'll do a blind contour drawing challenge. So, this
Okay.
is like a great exercise. So, we used to do that back in college, back in at an ID in my design institute. Whenever we used to have a drawing class, we would do this. And even otherwise, like sitting with friends and all, we would do often. It's a fun exercise, Um,
Mm-hmm.
so basically what you have to do is you have to draw a person's portrait without looking at the paper. Okay, so you look at the person's face. Yeah, and there is another twist to it. So once you start drawing, you can't lift your pen, so it's like a single continuous line, so it becomes very doodly. So the thing is, okay, one, it's a great exercise because when you're sitting down with people, and it's a great exercise to do whenever I do workshops and all. I do this with people. If there are different people coming in from different places, it's like a great icebreaker because when you're sitting across, you're looking at the person. You can look at all of their features and flaws, because you're not looking at paper, you're just staring at their face. So it's great, but it's also a great exercise because it helps you be more sort of observant and understand forms when you're looking at a person. So if you want to be
Mm-hmm.
creative, you want to be an artist, I mean, creative people I feel are the best people because they're great at problem solving, and these kind of
Right.
exercises help you become more creative and more observing. Okay.
So you're not gonna move like what? How do I do that? And I'm
So
not
I'm
supposed
gonna
to
just
lift my
look at you.
pen.
Yeah, just take a
Okay.
blank sheet of paper, put your
Okay.
pen down, and you look at my face, and I look at your face, and we just start drawing.
Oh shit.
Okay, you don't lift the pen, you keep drawing in just one
Uh,
continuous line.
fuck. Okay,
There you go.
I can't even
Okay.
find my pen and paper. Okay, something's happening. There is movement.
I
Oh
just wanted to
God.
check if my marker is working or not because one time it happened and the marker only wasn't working.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how it's fitting. But if this turns out better than anything I've ever done, I'm so tempted to not look down. I mean, to look down, but I can't. And
And
God,
also, other thing is that when you're doing something like this, it can go
uh-huh.
either way. It can look like a great representation of someone's face, or it can look like modern art.
It is most probably. Wait, I can't even lift my pen, right?
Yeah.
It has to be
So if it
one
goes
flowing.
bad, then it's great because after you're like, okay, I can only improve from here. It's only gonna get better from here. So it's a great exercise.
Yeah.
It's a confidence booster.
Uh-huh.
I think
Something
I
happened.
think I'm done.
What? I am on your sunglasses. I mean,
Okay.
glasses, I think. I mean, at least that's what I think. Wait, I haven't moved yet. I am trying to get some resemblance to you. Come on. Um,
My face is actually the easiest to draw.
yeah, there are
Almost.
lots of lines and all of that, right?
Yeah, and like I have a beard, I have a big nose, glasses, cap, earrings.
I
So
feel
almost
so
everyone back
bad.
in college and like used to draw my caricature.
I don't know if mine will be a caricature. Okay, I don't know. I left my pen, so I'm like now DQ'd. I have to show you, right? Like,
Yes.
please don't show me right now. Wait, I'll show you first. Let me see this. What the?
Hey, see, look at that. It's actually
That's
pretty
not
cool.
bad. That's
Yeah,
not bad at all.
it's
I'm
actually pretty
surprised.
cool. It's one of
Well
those
done,
very
Joseph.
minimalist sort of, like representation of.
Yeah,
Could be a
some
poster if
Picasso's
you just fill
level
in some
stuff.
solid colors. That's not
Yeah,
bad at all, man. And I'm
not
actually
bad,
quite
Joseph.
pleased with your thing also.
Show. Hey, dude, like this could be like a creative for the next time we do coffee with creators with you.
No, look at that.
Not bad at all. You got my hair and all, and you got the headphones in. How did you get the headphones in with like one line?
The hair
Oh.
was very easy to do. It's very low blend
But you're still in like, yeah, this not bad. Not bad. Hapa.
there. See?
Hapa, Rob.
So, like I said,
Someone
this is
just,
a fun exercise. And if you keep doing it over time, you
huh?
start improving on it. And
You
obviously,
start
you can't just
understanding
draw without
judgment.
looking. But yeah, just certain things you'll be like, oh, I made the nose smaller. Maybe next time I should explore. Or maybe the shape of the cap wasn't the right. And you
Uh-huh.
improve on it. So it's a great exercise. But again, this is also a great game to play with friends when you're drinking.
They have to like tie their head up so they don't look down.
Yeah, true.
Rob, how did mad stuff start? How did it begin all in the beginning? Like, I mean, you went to NID, you said you went to design school, you studied all of this, but how did you move on to make it a show for kids and that you've like, and then reaching across all age barriers now?
So like I said, I moved to Bombay because, Bombay is the entertainment hub and I wanted to work
Mm-hmm.
in Bombay. And I got
Mm-hmm.
a call from an animation studio,
Mm-hmm.
which was run by one of my seniors and he's a great, I don't know if you know Vaibhav Kumaresh, who used to do all the stuff for MTV, all the animated stuff for MTV. So your Simpu Singh
Oh
and,
yeah.
that Surdy
Oh,
character animation.
that's I was a kid then when that happened on MTV. I joined
Yeah.
MTV in 2011.
Yeah, so he was my senior and he used to do all of that. And I also grew up watching all of that, and used to love those characters. And me, because I was inclined towards art, I used to also enjoy all of that because, like, how are they making these characters move and talk? So it was very fascinating. Um, so, yeah, he ended up opening up his own animation studio and he asked me to come and work with him. And for me, it was like a dream come true, man. Like, it's like, oh my God, he asked me to come and join him. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I moved to Bombay. And while I was working with him, I was working on different projects. Um, and around that time, I had done a whole animation project for a new upcoming television channel, a kids channel.
Okay.
Hangama. Hangama was launching at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I finished that, somebody from Pogo got in touch with me and they were like, we would like to meet you. And I thought, oh, maybe they saw the animation.
And they want something
Yeah,
similar.
and they were like, oh, this guy is good and I might get some more work. I didn't know that at that time they were planning to start a live action show.
Mm-hmm.
So when I met them, they sort of had an idea of what they wanted to do with it, but it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't what we put out.
Right.
So, and I obviously had no clue. So when I met them, I was like, okay, so this is my work, this is my portfolio. Long story short, they were like, no, but we also want someone to develop ideas and be in front of the camera. I was like, I am not that guy. Okay, so I am leaving. And this went on for a couple of weeks. They called me
Mm-hmm.
back. They said, listen, you want to do this audition? All of that happened. And I said, I won't be able to do it. And I said, if you want me to be part of something like this, then just give me some freedom to develop something that I would like to do. And
Mm-hmm.
even in my audition, I did this whole storytelling session and like a little DIY and things like that, which they absolutely loved. And then there was more
Mm-hmm.
pressure on me to like now say yes to doing this show. But it was so new, man. There was nothing like that on TV at that time that I could reference to and say, hey, maybe I could do something like that and it'll work. And to give up
Mm-hmm.
my animation career, which
Oh
was doing
yeah.
really well, I was like, this is a big risk, man. And then I was like, okay, like if I don't do this, then I might regret it. I'm getting an opportunity to do something on television, and as an artist, even when I was growing up, or even when I joined art college, it was very, very difficult and challenging because to convince parents, convince society, convince everyone that you don't want to do the conventional, sort of careers and get
Mm-hmm.
into art, which people considered uh, not very lucrative, you know.
Right.
So I thought maybe this could be a great way to change the mindsets a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
for them, the possibilities of this world. And I went in with that mindset, and I said, okay, I want to do this, but you help me develop the show and things like that, and do it. Let me do it my way because I'm not an actor, so I won't be able to do lines, and I won't be able to do comedy and
Mm-hmm.
like that. And I'm so lucky and fortunate that the people who were there at that time agreed to most of the stuff I was saying, and they gave me so much freedom to develop it.
Liberty.
Yeah, and we ended up making the first episode, and then that got me excited. We did the whole first season. It rated really well, and wherever I was going, people were so happy that we had a show like that. And yeah, that was after that there was no looking back, man.
How many years did that show go on?
I think we launched in 2004,
Mm-hmm.
and I was with them till like 2011, I think. Yeah. So we
7 years.
did about, I think we did 7 seasons and two special seasons. So in total, about I think 9. But there were lots of these smaller specials. Like we took some kids to Singapore and did like a Mad in Singapore. We did
Mm-hmm.
camping with like some 20 kids, and we called it Camp Mad. So everything was around DIY. But like we kept doing these spin-offs of the same show in a different sort of concept and setting. So we did a lot of that also.
And how did you keep getting ideas? Like, I mean, it can get a little repetitive. How did you not fall out of love with it? Or how did you not run out of ideas? Like, how did you evolve while doing the show?
Because it was one fascinating, two, there was a lot of learnings. Initially, like I didn't understand television at all. I had
Mm-hmm.
studied filmmaking and I knew how it works, but being in front of the camera and also sitting down and directing cameramen, how to shoot it. Because, like you said, um, you know, like a cooking show, once you put
Mm-hmm.
salt, you can't remove it. So art is
Right.
also like that. If you're doing watercolors, you pour water, is done. You can't say, oh, we didn't get the shot. Can you just take that paint off? There's no
Right.
control Z. So it was a little tricky in the beginning. So I was also
Uh-huh.
learning on the job of how to manage these things. So it was very exciting for me. Also because I have always loved art. So there are certain things like growing up, I came from a middle class family. So, I used to make my own toys. I used to make my own things to be, because my parents were not, we were like, we can't buy you something like this because it's super expensive. But I didn't want to be like, hey, I don't have that toy, or I don't have the He-Man collection. I was like, I can make my own caveman. I can make my own, just pick up some cardboard and I'll make my own superhero. So things like that. And that again, like childlike quality or thinking like a child helped me come up with ideas. So initially it was all the ideas, growing up that I did, made, saw. And for me, every time I would go anywhere, like if I was in Andamans and I go visit the local market and I see that making things out of coconut, I was like, wow, this could be it. And you pick up, look at the toys, look at the things they have made, the tools they're using, come back and think of an alternative. A kid won't be able to work with coconut, but what is a hard material that they can work with? How can they recycle a plastic bottle? If they want to work with craft foam, where do you get it? Like if you can't go to a store, your shoe insoles are craft foam. You take out your shoe insole and can make something out of it. So just thinking like that, helped me come up with cool ideas for the show. And everyone enjoyed that a lot. And also it was a lot of learnings for me. Like I did applied art in my college, which was commercial art. So you do advertising and illustration and photography. I did a little bit of sculpture in my foundation, but not enough to understand that medium. So if I had to make an episode where we were teaching people how to make 3D sculptures out of say foam block or clay or a plaster of Paris or anything like that, I was like, my knowledge is limited. So we used to often call guests on the show or call experts, and I would spend time with them to learn, what I could put out, so that I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
So in a way, it was great learning for me too. Like every time I would come up, say if I wanted to learn, and that's how I ended up making a show on magic as well. So when we stopped production of Mad, we did a show called Magic School. We were teaching kids how to do magic, and for that I told the channel I want to learn magic. I went to China, attending magic conventions. I went to Hong Kong for magic conventions and spent time with magicians. So constantly I was trying to learn new stuff. And when you're doing something new every day, it doesn't get monotonous or boring.
Very cool. And what is Rob cooking right now? What is coming up next for us that, I don't know, maybe you could give hints of, or that you already know you're doing? What's up next?
No, right now I'm trying to sort of revamp my channel a little bit. I'm trying to, because that also I keep doing. Like when I started the YouTube channel, I was told that it's for, the space is for kids. And we started making, but as I said, as I started attending the YouTube fan fairs and hanging with others, I realized a lot more youth are on the channel, on the platform, sorry, and they consume content more than anyone else. So I started tweaking my content a little bit, started changing the style of shooting. So now I want to try something completely different, or like showcasing art through storytelling. Also, I wanted to always explore travel and art, and I had shot some pilots also, which I was pitching to travel channels and all. Didn't materialize. But I'm thinking now, because I have an audience and I have a reach, maybe I should explore on my song. Just waiting, writing down, yeah. So as soon as things improve, I'll get back to it. And I started this almost 2 years back. We did like a live event, like a live show. You know how you have musicals, like Broadway musicals.
Right.
I did like an hour and a half long show, which was like basically like a visual treat of sorts. So you would see all these big art pieces or installations that I make on the show. I was doing that live on stage. And also it was like a little workshop kind of thing where we're doing fun exercises like this, or invite people on stage, do a little bit of magic. So it had all of that. And that was great, man. We did in Bangalore and Chennai about 10 shows. And I absolutely loved it. So I'm hoping that, when things get better, I want to start working on that again and see where we can travel with that now. I hope we can travel to like the remotest parts of India and then maybe international. So I want to bring that to, like, I really want people to experience art. And also we feel, this is great, man. Like this really helps the screen, but I also feel that people need to learn how to disconnect from it. And art is that, like, my work is such that it always leaves that positive message. I read this, in fact, the people are doing some sort of research where they saw that whenever someone is going through stress, anxieties, any kind of mental problem, like if you do something with your hands, if you're creative
Right.
or productive, it takes out all your stress. It helps you sort of, reduce your anxiety, brings calm. There is a sense of
Mm-hmm.
achievement when you make something. So I really feel that this medium, like art, can really
Mm-hmm.
reach people. So through that
Okay.
show, if they can come and experience it without any screens and no editing, everything happening live in front of it, I guess that will be like a very different experience for them.
That would be like a thing that you want to check off. There is actually one person who's been repeatedly asking about how to become a Google Doodler from India. So, do you have any idea? And why is he asking you this? Have you
I
done
don't know.
something like
So,
this?
Google also used to do this sort of project campaign, Doodle for Google, where
Mm-hmm.
they would basically take in doodles from students and kids, and so from all over India, they would sort of invite students to send in their doodles, and then they used to choose about 10 or 12, or shortlist
Uh-huh.
12, and from that they took one as a winner, and that
Uh-huh.
doodle was on Google's homepage
Google's
for a
logo.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because they do a lot of fun stuff with that. And I was the judge and sort of face of the Doodle for Google campaign for I think 3 years or four.
Oh, that's why they're asking you.
Yeah, maybe. But
Yeah.
I'm not part of that anymore. So
Yeah.
um, if you want to do it, I guess, I mean, they announce it. So once they announce that, then you can participate.
Okay. What are we doing next, Rob? Now we need to like do some mad stuff again. Again, how did Mad happen? Like, how did Mad become a part of your thing, your show name, your name? How did?
It's funny, man. Like, I mean, Rob is, and my full name is Harun Robert. So when I
Yeah, I
was
didn't till
working on the,
yesterday.
but nobody,
Harun
like,
Robert.
besides my family, or like couple of my friends, nobody calls me by my first name. Like back in college and even in school, I used to play basketball, and on my
Hmm.
jersey was my last name. So everyone used to call me Robert. At that time, I wasn't
Right.
Rob. So everyone was Robert, Robert, Robert. So even when I auditioned for the show, there were a couple of NID seniors also at that time working with the channel, and they would often
Right.
call me Robert. But they also thought that, first of all, Harun is, people think it's very confusing because people think, oh, it's a Muslim name. Some people think it's a Christian. It is a Christian name. It's from the Bible, but they get often, so they're like, we don't want any of that on a kids channel. It should be like, so they thought Robert
Easy
is
to pick
great,
up, easy to speak,
easy to
easy
pick
to
up, easy
say.
to remember. So they thought Robert is great, but then again, there are a lot of villains in Bollywood. Okay. So they were like, oh, but Robert might have a negative connotation. So what can you do? And that time, one of the executive producer, Jules Fuller, was this British guy, used to all
Hmm.
fondly call me Rob. So they said, I mean,
Which is
Rob works.
stuck.
It's short of your, yeah. So I said, yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I mean, it's not like I'm changing. You're calling me Mike or something. So I don't mind Rob. So it became Rob. And the show name, initially, when we had discussed, the whole idea, that time we thought we'll call it Made in India. Okay.
Okay.
Like this was strictly that. And then
You
it
were the
became Mad in
original
India.
made in India.
Yeah, then it became Mad in India. And then we were like, but it's too long. And then we thought
Hmm.
Mad, because it stands for music, art, and
Art
dance.
and
So the
dance.
three segments on the show. And then people just forgot like the name of the host, and they only remember
Mad wale
the
bhaiya.
yeah, no, that's Mad. So now when I'm walking on the street, now obviously people, but initially it was just, hey, Mad, 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 Mad guy, Mad guy.
Mad
So
guy.
yeah. So even when I was starting my YouTube channel, we were discussing names, and they said, everyone remembers you as Mad, and or the guy who does mad stuff.
Right.
So I was like, okay, maybe mad stuff with Rob is a fun
Is
name.
going to stick. It
Yeah.
continues. So mad stuff with Rob. What mad stuff are we doing now?
Okay, so we'll do another fun challenge.
Hmm.
So this is a half and half challenge. So whenever I do my lives, I encourage my guests to try this out. So what we'll do is either guys who are on the live right now can suggest some character names. It could be anything, you know, a hipster or a yogi to a monster to anything you like. Or if you have a character in mind, you can draw that too. Okay. So what you will do is you will draw the top half of the character, and I'll draw a bottom half of any character that I can pick from either this or. And then once we are done with the doodle, we'll bring it out and we'll join it on the screen to see your top half and my bottom half and see what we have created. So the half and half will
Someone,
create a.
someone said Dexter, Hulk, Thanos, Michael Schumacher, Minion. It's going all over.
Wow, there are great, what do you say,
I could do
options.
Dexter. I think I remember what Dexter looks like.
Okay.
Should I draw Dexter's top? I mean, there is very little in this.
Don't tell me what you're doing. Don't tell anyone what you're doing. Okay,
What?
don't pick one and just draw.
Oh, wait, so you're drawing a second half without knowing what is my top half.
Exactly.
Oh, shit. And then we put it up and then we see what we
Yeah.
drew.
So you could you might make Dexter and I might make a ballerina's legs, you know. There might be a nice sort of half and half.
This is too many options, okay, now suddenly.
You can draw something that you know, like is on your mind or something that you absolutely love.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we have a time limit on this or what?
Let's like give ourselves 5 minutes or something. A quick doodle.
2
Like how we
minutes.
did.
2
2
minutes.
minutes.
Come.
2 minutes.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if there is anything interesting. Guys, suggest something.
I'm starting drawing because, I mean, yeah, I've started drawing. Listen, if you can't recognize the character, not my fault. Huh? I mean, I've already seen that I've started off as something, it has become something else.
That's the beauty of art.
Oh shit. I realized that I'm drawing I drew better without looking at the page.
You see, there's no pressure then. You know, otherwise you start like sort of looking at your work and judging yourself on how your line quality is and why your form is not coming out right.
Yeah. Oh shit. I'm just laughing at my own art. See, it's already relieving stress off me.
Exactly.
Mhm. I'm supposed to draw the first half, no?
Yeah, top half, yes. But do you otherwise draw?
Draw?
Yeah.
I used to copy covers from books in school, like I would see like cartoon covers and then copy them and all. When I tried doing elementary examination, I got like a C grade and I passed, but I never went beyond that. But yeah, I like copying stuff. I can still decently copy things from one thing to another.
Correct.
But yeah, beyond that, it was
That is also, a great way to learn, man. Like,
yeah, but I
I
didn't go
encourage
beyond. No,
people.
that's the thing. I didn't go beyond that only.
Uh,
What a gavabe. I thought I would follow up with art at some point in my life, but I didn't.
it's never too late, man. If you
I
want to
think we
start
should.
now, you can start now.
Yeah, I think I'm done. I mean, yeah, I think we don't need your lower half to make a mix. I've already made a mix.
I couldn't see any great sort of options, so I just did
So
a quick
okay.
set of legs Like,
That's actually, isn't legs easier? Wait, how would you make those legs also creative? You could make chicken legs also.
oh yeah,
Oh,
hey shit, that was a good idea. I should have done that only, man. Yeah, I
yeah.
ended up
After
making.
mine, I have already made a half and a half a face is something else, the other half is something else. Uh, draw Khali, someone says.
Khali.
The wrestler. Okay, you
Ah,
ready?
okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Hey, not bad. Okay, let's make legs. Ta-da!
You know what my character is or
Is it?
supposed to
It
be?
looks like a mix between Dexter and Supandi.
Yes! You got that right. Someone take a screenshot, please. Wait, I need to take. I'm only gonna try and take a screenshot. Okay, try not to
Someone will
end the live.
move it back a little. Move it back a little. Yeah. There you go. Hey, this
Got
looks damn cool, man.
not bad at all, Rob.
Yeah.
Super. Good stuff, Hapa. We should
Damn good.
do
Damn
more
good.
live things.
This is
Damn, this
fun.
was fun. Thank you so much. So yeah, next coming up is a mix of travel and art from your side. Are you also going to be doing, do you normally do live workshops and stuff?
I do a lot of live workshops.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And yeah, but I used to enjoy, like, like, especially like for art, when you can go walk around and see what people are doing, that's more fun. But I was doing a lot of online sort of workshops and classes also.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's fun.
I'm actually thinking we should do some more of this art things. Like, I mean, it's actually fun to put pen to paper. It's been a while. I see why you can
It's
still
great.
do this all the time. Thank
It's
you.
great. It's like
And
therapy, man. Like, and like I said, for people who have any kind of anxiety, stress, or any mental health problem, great
they start
exercises.
crying.
Yeah. You can just release everything, because you're
Yeah,
so
it's the.
distracted, no, and disconnected from everything else, and you're just focusing on what you're doing. And there
Mm-hmm.
is like a little, like how you're feeling happy now. We ended up doing something which was so simple and in like 2 minutes, but there is that sense of achievement that we created. You did something on your own, I did something on my own, but together we created something in like
Magic.
2 minutes.
Yeah,
So it's fun.
that is true. And
But yeah, we
Rob,
should
in
definitely do something again if you're open to it.
totally, totally, we should do some kind of a workshop where we could have different people joining. We could do a three-way or a four-way drawing where
Yeah,
one half
yeah,
second half thought. Chalo,
that'll
chalo.
be fun.
Good ideas. Good ideas. That it has begun. The tinkling has begun in my head. Supandi from Tinkle and Dexter from Cartoon Network.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Rob. This is a lot of fun. If you have any message or if you have any workshops coming up, you can let people know right now when they get to catch you live. If anything's up.
No workshops and such, but thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun, and it's always nice to speak to fellow creators. And like I really feel, and you're doing a great job. I just went to your page and saw how many live sessions you have done, and during this time, this is great, man. Like that you can provide something like this, where people get to hear different stories, and it's really nice and inspiring and motivating to listen
Thank
to.
you so much, man.
Yeah,
Thank
other
you.
people. So you're
I'm
doing
go-
great stuff, man,
and
and
you
I'm
are killing
very
it. I
happy.
love all your birthday special portraits that you put out for different celebrities when they happen. Like, that's epic stuff. But
Thanks.
yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to see you soon in person and
Yes,
get mad.
yes. And for that, everyone, guys, please be responsible. I don't want to sound like negative or towards the end of the session, but a lot of people are saying that though things are better now, but a third wave is coming. Please be responsible when you go out. Please wear a mask, guys, and please take care. And unless it's really necessary, please, okay, don't step out. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. And yeah, let's just. I'm done with this, man. It's fed up of COVID, so let's just end it. Thank you so much, man.
Thank
Cheers.
you, Rob. See you on the other side. Bye.